my channel, and as you probably have guessed, today is Halloween, and I have this was my birthday present from my husband. It's a spider, and I have a bat here. They're both from Steiff. I'm in the Steiff Club. I've been in that since 2000 something, 2002, I think. So when we went to the Steiff Club gathering, couple, I guess about a month and a half ago, my husband got me this for my birthday. My birthday's in November, but I just loved it, and I was just holding on to it as they passed it around. Everybody got to you know, cuddle with it and stuff. And as they passed it around, and then I got it, I was the last person to hold the plushies and stuff. And I would not let go of him. I loved it. I named her Charlotte after Charlotte's Web because it was one of my favorite books as a child, and I thought this is cute. So for Halloween, I thought I'd share. And so the little bat is going to stay where he's at as long as he doesn't fall off the computer or something, but he's going to watch over us as we do this. Today, I'm going to put Spider over here. Today I am going to do a reading, and I'm going to connect with my guides regarding a single solitary word. And the word is fear. Now, fear is a fear is an issue that a lot of people are contending with right now. They're afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. They're afraid of what's going to happen next week, and they're afraid of the future, of everything. There's like that internalized idea that everything that is going on is going to have a massive impact on their well-being. And there's nothing wrong with being concerned or afeared about what is going on. But the problem is that sometimes the dark energy feeds off that. And so people have to be really careful about what they are allowing themselves to be brought into, what kind of situation they're going to allow themselves to step into. So when you're dealing with something like fear, you have to um, you have to recognize that the fear is often a man-made problem. Spiritually, emotions are just that, they're emotions. But nobody can really define them. They can just define the energy surrounding them as being dark or of the light. And so fear tends to have an indication that it is of the darkness, that there's a dark force or dark energy that is permeating someone or something, no matter what it is that we are talking about. Now, tomorrow, the in the US, the SNAP benefits are going to end, and a lot of people will not be getting their food assistance, which is terrible. I mean, there's nothing more heartbreaking than hungry children, and there's nothing more heart-wrenching than seeing an elderly person go without their medicine because they have to eat. I mean, there's just something very heartless about the overall system over there, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see it. But what is perpetuating all of this? Why is it that this is all happening in the first place? When Neil Donald Walsh wrote the book Conversations with God, he outlined that there were two emotions. There was love, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and fear. And fear is what I want to focus on today because fear gives rise to all of the emotions that people have about the other, about stockpiling weapons or whatever it is that they do. It's that fear of other people who are not like them, and they have been built into this idea of fear for so long that they don't know how to release it. So today I'm going to try and find a way to help people release that fear. And there are fears, like finite fears, like of spiders, and there are fears of things. I mean, I have fear of dogs, not large dogs like Labrador retrievers and collies and stuff like that. Those are nice dogs. But I have fear of medium-sized dogs like terriers and the ones that yap and bark a lot because I had a dog when I was a kid. There was a dog that lived down the road from me, and every time I walked by that house, that dog would be let out. That dog was always let out. It was always, it always roamed around the neighborhood, and it would chase me. And I didn't hate that dog, but I was terribly scared of it. I did not like it. And so when I would get off the bus, when I would walk by this, because I had to walk down a long street to get to where I lived at the time. So when I would walk down that street, that dog would come out and start barking at me, and I was scared. I was seriously scared of it. And the thing is, animals can sense fear. So that dog could probably tell that I was afraid of it, and it was going, "Heh, heh, heh, I'm going to get her this time," that kind of thing. So people can smell fear. They can smell it. It's almost like a sixth sense. You can smell it when somebody's afraid of you. You can almost sense it because they have their body language kind of tells you that they're afraid of you. So what I want to do is I want to close my eyes and I'm going to ask my guides, what can you tell me about fear? Okay, they're saying that fear is a darkened energy source. It is born of ignorance and disdain of something that is unlike the norm that they are accustomed to. Fear begets hatred, prejudice, intolerance, unkindness, hurt, and various other emotions. The way to deal with fear is to release it, to let go of the notion that people are inherently bad, and let go of the idea that everybody's out to get you. Fear is uncertainty encased in an idea that the future may not be what people expect or want. Fear also is an emotion that comes forth through racism, uncertainty, and the idea that someone else has something that you want. Fear is an illusion that is created and manifested through ideas of people controlling and dominating others. And the best thing that people can do is turn away and walk away from it. So that's what they're telling me. So I'm going to pull cards on that. I've got the Light in the Mist Tarot. This is the deck that I usually use for. This is the deck that I usually use for these kind of readings. It's a new deck. I broke it in a couple of days ago, and it's been serving me rather well. And I like the back of it. The back has a very kind of there's a sort of a it kind of matches with the bat in the picture here, but it is a very I think it has a tendency to be a dark deck or a darker deck. I'm not going to say dark, but um, I've seen darker decks like the Runic Tarot that Libby sometimes uses. Ooh, that deck is very dark. This deck is in the minor arcana. This deck has many of the same sorts of images. The images are kind of the same with the different meanings of the different cards. So when you have like eight of swords or nine of swords, and they look similar to each other, except by the numbers at the bottom or the name at the bottom, then that is sort of the concept. This is why I'm using this deck, because this deck seems to feel like there's no prejudices through the images. The images have there's not a way to really interpret them dark and light. It's just is. And it's just the images are a little bit different. So let's go into the idea of fear and what fear actually personifies in this. What is fear about? What can we learn about fear through the cards and through my guides? What can we learn about fear? And how can we dispel it? This is the idea. So the cards I'm going to pull will be about fear, centered on the notion of fear. Not necessarily fear itself, but the notion of it. The idea that we can find answers through this way of interpreting what fear is about. Because I mean, there's fear of there's fear of others, there's fear of things, of situations. I mean, there's all different sorts of places and things that can embody this idea of fear. So, what can you tell me about fear? Can you tell me about fear? Tell me about fear. And I said stop. Oh, so I stopped. Um, so the first card out is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is that kind, gentle, loving energy that is embodied in a compassionate, caring, motherly, nurturing nature. So when you look at the Queen of Cups and in reference to fear, this is the counter to the fear. So the Queen of Cups is really that she is she is there to act as a counter to this notion that somebody's out to get you. This the She is the embodiment of the good and noble and kindness that people seek to find in their lives. And if you have kindness, how can you be afraid? What can you be afraid of if you have kindness, love, and compassion and gentility in your life? How can you imagine something to fear when you have that kind of energy around you? It's crossed with the Three of Cups. This is the jovial coming together as community. And again, this is another way of countering the fear. It crosses the kind, compassionate idea. And oh, I just noticed on this Queen of Cups card, it says the word receive. So you receive the good that embodies that idea. When you receive, there's a sense of gratitude and thankfulness. And so when it's crossed with this is that, well, my guides are saying that people are afraid to receive. They've been programmed for so long that when they are given a gift, that to accept that gift is a sign of weakness. It's a twisted way of thinking, but it is what some people do actually believe, that when somebody gives you something and they want to create that sense of community with you, because this is a very community-based card, because you have the people celebrating together, they're coming together as a community. And when you have that, some people are afraid of that because they think that 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 if somebody reaches a hand out to you, then people ask, what is their intention? What's behind it? What is the idea behind the notion? And so they become afraid of that. They're honestly afraid of kindness. They're afraid of compassion because they believe that 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 there is some kind of underhanded, shadowy idea behind it. Why is it that they're afraid? We do not know. But this is the notion that crosses the this idea of receiving. They think once you accept something that you're under someone else's control, and they're afraid of that. So that this is where the fear comes in. People are actually afraid that that the good notions of other people will um, that these good intentions of other people will have underhanded ideas. So let me pull the. I'm going to hold it over these two cards, and I'm going to ask: are people afraid that to receive help or assistance, that it will come with strings attached? Yes, that's what they're afraid of. Is there a way to dispel that fear from people? Okay, yes. Um, does it lie in the notion of communities working together to overcome situations? And they say no. Okay, thank you. Clear, please. Does it lie in individuals reaching out to others? Okay, that's where the yes comes. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, this is what we are kind of contending with. We are contending with people have to come on their own accord to someone when they're afraid. They have to find the courage within to come to the people to receive the help that they need. Otherwise, they will not receive. They will not receive it. So they have to overcome that fear and they have to come to the person. The underarching energy is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles in this instance, I think, is about um, the notion that there's enough there. See, the problem that a lot of people have when it comes to fear and being afraid of something is they really seriously believe that there's a limit to how much is there, how much is available to them. And by acknowledging that the universe is a limitless concept, that we are in this thing together and that we are united in this thing, that that we are that there's enough. There's a plentiful supply. This card is about prosperity. And in the Gilded Tarot, there is a image of a barkeep who's holding up a cup, and he's saying cheers to the people, and he's holding that cup up, and he's saying, "I welcome you into this place. I welcome you into this place, and I'm welcoming you to the prosperity that is due to you." And so, in overcoming fear, then that means you can accept and embrace this gift. So this is all about receiving, giving and receiving. But in this instance, to be afraid of receiving. This is going somewhere where I didn't even think it was going to go, where people are afraid to receive because they think it is a sign of weakness to them. But yet you have the barkeep, you have the person standing there and saying, Nine of Pentacles, we have enough here, we're willing to share. In the immediate past, you have the Hangman. Again, the Hangman is showed up in the guilt reading as well, and it was in the same position, I believe. It was in the fourth position in the Celtic cross. And the Hangman is about being suspended. That the fear is keeping you suspended. When you're afraid of something, you're not only afraid of that item or that thing, you're also afraid of that possible outcome that could be a good outcome for you. So by looking at yourself, you're seeing yourself suspended, and you're seeing yourself in this position where you have to determine for yourself if you're going to stay suspended in that situation. Am I going to be afraid of my neighbor who may wear huge gigantic earrings and walk around looking like something out of Hocus Pocus, or am I going to go to that person and say, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I brought you pumpkin pie"? I mean, this is where this is where the immediate past is. This is the people who have been suspended in this situation, and now they're coming out and they're saying, you know what, the best way for me to counter the fear is to go and talk to my neighbor. And so this becomes a spring point for people to go and to talk to their people, to the people around them in the community, and say, regardless of what they believe or what they think or what they how they voted or what have you, then yeah, just regardless of that, we're going to go and we're going to talk to them and we're going to find out a little bit about them, see what's going on with them, and then maybe that will help dispel their fears as well. The overarching energy is the Six of Pentacles. This is this nostalgic card. No, I got that mixed up again. Six of Pentacles showed up yesterday too. And what I called it was the meadow, walking through the archway into the meadow, coming out of the darkness and into the light. And I think that this is what it's about. This is about stepping out from this situation where we think that it is sorry, stepping out from the situation where we're standing in this darkened place, which is the fear, which is the concept or the notion of fear. When we step out from that, then we step into the light. Now, in the Gilded Tarot, you have the image of the guy who's working, and then you have the people's hands reaching out to get the pentacles. And this is kind of the idea about it. The idea is them overcoming their fear for a moment so that they can reach out and say, give me some of that. Give me some of this optimism. Give me some of this positivity. Give me the things that are going to make me feel like I'm a part of a community, that I'm a part of something. And once I recognize that I have nothing to fear about it, then I'm able to embrace that idea. I'm able to step through that portal and go out into that meadow and smell the flowers and see the people and do all the things that that I need to do. In the immediate future, we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is that challenge. And it's about going through and struggling to do it. Some people will struggle with this. Some people are going to struggle with overcoming their fear of the other in order to step out into that meadow. So I mean, when you look at these two cards and you see coming through coming through the doorway into the meadow, and then you see the Nine of Wands, and you see this idea that the people are going to be trying to struggle. They're going to be struggling with overcoming their fear of the other in order to recognize that we are all equal. In the eyes of the divine, we are all one. Every day when I do a video, or every time I do a video, I say at the very end, I say namaste. Namaste means the divine in me acknowledges and embraces the divine in you. That is how I define the word. And namaste is, I believe, a Hindi word. It's based in Buddhism or Hindu. Yeah, it's based in Hinduism. Sorry, I got my religions a little bit mixed up. But the idea of namaste is that idea of embracing the person that one comes in contact with. So when you come through a field and you're having a challenge with yourself, this goes against my beliefs, or this goes against what I have been taught or what I've been raised to believe. A lot of people have this with regards to church, and this is why I no longer go to church, because church in some senses has been using guilt and fear as a way to control the people. And so for a lot of these people who are trying to overcome their fear, they have that basis of fear through the church and through their ideologies that are preventing them from moving forwards and moving into that meadow. So that is what the Nine of Wands represents here. It represents this notion that people are afraid to overcome their fears, and then and they feel battle weary because they're trying and trying and trying to find a reason to not like somebody, and yet there's no reason presented. So what can they do? What can they say? Externally, you have the Five of Cups. This is the heartbreak and disappointment of this. What people are looking at externally is they're seeing all this horrible stuff going on, and they're seeing all these unhappy people and all these things happening. And they're trying to figure out, why is it that the people are so unhappy? Why are they so miserable with their lives? Why is it that we are sitting here in this position when the universe says there's plenty for all, and yet there's 5 or 6 people who are holding everything and leaving crumbs for the rest? And they're using this idea of fear to propagate hatred and misguided action by other people. And I saw a meme about this some time ago, and it says the millionaires, the oligarchs, and all these other people are trying to take away benefits from people so that they can control them and what have you. And they are trying to convince people that instead of them being the problem and them being the reason that people are having such a hard time, they're trying to convince the masses that it's those other people that they can punch down on that are causing the problem. So that is what this is. This is what this is about. People are recognizing, wait a minute, I've been duped. I've been told that this is all about these poor people who have no money by these rich people who are saying your problems are the poor people who have no money. So it's punching down is what it is. And so this is externally how things are looking. Internally, you have the Knight of Pentacles. And this is the okay, I have to cheat a little bit. I have to find my royal card things here because I've been doing okay so far, but I want to understand why it is that I'm pulled the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, aha. This is the reliable energy. Okay, this is externally, this is internally. So this is us internally. We are weighing what's going on. Um we're seeing the outcomes, not the outcomes, but the results of our choices. We're seeing this, and we're hearing these things from these people, and they're saying, "Oh, it's these poor people who are doing all this, and they're creating me all these problems for me and stuff like that." But in reality, people are looking at this and saying, "Wait a minute. These people have no power. They have no means in which to create these problems for us." So 1 plus 1 does not equal 3 here. What you've got people who are now looking at this stuff, and they're taking it out and they're methodically looking through it, and they're saying, wait a minute, all this time we've been afraid of these people, but they're not the ones to be afraid of. They're not the problem. They're not the cause of the problems that we are having, but they could be part of the solution when we unite with them. And so the Knight of Pentacles is looking at all of these things, and he's looking at all these, at what people are being told, and they're saying, wait a minute, if this is what people are, if this is what people are being told, and we're looking at the figures and the numbers and the the other stuff, and we're doing our own research, and we're finding out, wait a minute, this isn't right. We're not going to allow these people to impose their fear on us any longer. And so this is what people internally are going through. This is what they're internally doing. They're saying what we're being told does not add up to what my grocery bill is. What we're being told does not add up to my kids going hungry. what we're being told is not adding up to the problems that are going on in the world. So this is really taking out and methodologically looking at what we're being told and how we're going, and what our response to what we're being told is. And people are now waking up to this idea that maybe what they've been told has been a fear-based ideology that is keeping people trapped in this self-made prison, sort of the Eight of Swords concept, where you are tied up, but it is you alone who can break out of that. So that is what this is about. That is what when it says methodological, because that's what my thing here says, methodological in nature, reliable. So they're looking for reliable information, reliable news sources, reliable things that are going to tell them not what the fear is telling them, but what the reality is. Hopes and fears is the Ten of Pentacles. And this is the Ten of Pentacles is the having enough. This is the completing the cycle and having enough. And this is what people are hoping for. They're hoping that they will be able to have enough to get through everything that's going on. But they have to recognize their fear for what it is in order to reach to work towards this. Because once they recognize the fear that people are trying to scare them for no reason at all, except for their own maintaining power over them, then they will have the ability to work towards that prosperity that they need and desire. And the final outcome is the Four of Pentacles. Now, a lot of people call this the Hoarder card, but in this instance, this is what will happen if people give in to their fear. You will have one person or a few people holding all of the tools of prosperity and leaving them with nothing. So basically what this is saying, or what this is telling me, is in order to get beyond this energy, you have to release the fear. You have to let go of the fear in order to reach the outcome that you desire. This is not the outcome you desire, but this is the outcome if you do not release the fear. Okay, so I'm gonna let's see if I can get this up so that it's not interrupted by the bat here. Okay, so around and around is ready for question. Show me yes, please, so that we can get this right. Okay. Forward and backwards is yes. This is yes. Okay, thank you. So my hand moved slightly. Okay, this is ready for question. Show me no, please. And then side to side is no. Okay, thank you. Okay, clear, please. Will we overcome the fear as a society with regards to everything that is happening in the world? Will we overcome the fear? Yes, we will. Thank you. Clear. Will people in society embrace the goodness that comes by overcoming fear? And again, right into yes, they will. Okay, thank you. Clear. Is the message here intended to help people overcome their fear of the other? Yes, that is what the message is. Clear, please. Will those in power ultimately recognize this? No, they won't. They will not. In fact, that's a very strong no. They will not. Uh, will they be forced to recognize it? Yes, they will. Clear, please. Is this about class warfare? Yes, it is. Okay. Will people eventually, through the court systems or otherwise, receive their SNAP benefits? Okay, I'm getting yes on that. Okay, this is all for entertainment only, so please do not shoot the messenger. I'm just relaying what my guides have told me. So that is what I've got as far as the fear is concerned. I'm gonna pull some cards from the Gilded Reverie. I'm gonna shuffle these first, and then some cards from the Gilded Reverie, and yeah, and we'll see what other messages there may be, because I think there's more messages to be given, and I think that this is something that is going to be important. Okay, I think I'm done with the tarot. Yeah, they're saying yeah, you're done with the tarot for today. Okay, so tarot cards. Shuffled them. Give me some clean energy for tomorrow. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. So, and that is the Light in the Mist tarot deck. It's by Rita Orloff and Jack Fallows. Sorry, Rita Orloff and Jack Fallows. So nice deck. And it's also it's a very generic type of deck. So it's to me it's a very it's a nice deck to work with on these particular questions, because there's not any there's not any feel to it. It's just it is just a generic type of deck. It just the cards have this generic sort of feel to them. Okay, I'm now using the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck. I don't know Lenormand very well, so I'm just going by the images and looking at the images and interpreting what I think is going on. So I'm going to give these a mix here. These are beautiful cards. These are absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Gold, golden golden sides, and then here's the face of them. It's a really beautiful deck. I really love this. I don't like to poker shuffle these very much because they're harder cards, but I also don't want to. I don't like the idea of the gold rubbing away and stuff. I had another deck where the gold rubbed away, and so I'm gonna just come shuffle these like this, so you can see that I'm shuffling. And that's what I did with the other deck here. There we go. So the card that I pulled is the ship. I like this. This is like a steampunk type ship. And what I get from this is sailing away from the darkened idea and moving into a light or the dawn. I think that the notion of the ship is setting sail, and in the my guides are saying esoteric idea is that you're setting sail from the fear-based ideology into the love-based ideology. You're releasing that fear, you're releasing that anger and that hostility, and you're moving into a new place. And that is the idea that I get through this card, is that you're leaving one ideology and you're moving towards another. And the one ideology that you're leaving is the fear, is the anger. And but it also And somebody made a very good point about this. They said that there's also, when realizing that you've lived in fear for a lot of time, it's like going through the 7 phases of grief. And so there's going to be that moment when you're angry and when you're bitter and upset about what's going on. So you will be moving out of that sort of storm and into a more peaceful, calming existence. And it's going to take time. You're not going to be able to do it from today until tomorrow. People cannot let go of prejudices and ideas that they have about other people from 1 second to the next. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen in a methodological, like the Knight of Pentacles that I pulled. I think it was Knight of Pentacles or Knight of Cups or something. But anyway, that methodological movement away from one ideology to the other. And so that's what this is about. This is about taking this idea and moving away from this fear and into this love mentality. And I think that the problem that a lot of people have is that they don't know how to do this. So the next card I get, this looks like the Wheel of Fortune, but it is a star, and it has it has all of the signs of the zodiac on it. If you look really, really closely at the card, it has all the signs of the zodiac on it. And this is about everybody. This is about all of us. We all have elements of fear to contend with. We all have elements of things about ourselves that we do not like, or do we do not want to embrace, or do not want to accept. So what we have to do is we have to accept that. Accept that we are not perfect, but embrace the idea that we can step away from the imperfections that we do have and step into this idea that we do have perfections within us. The guides are saying spiritually, we are all perfect. It's the physical ideas and the physical realm that create the imperfections that are manifest within all of us. I'm stubborn as hell. I can be I can be overly sensitive. I'm a Scorpio, what can I say? But I also have a stinger. If you anger me, then look out, because I have the stinger and I'm not afraid to use it. That is the idea. We all and what astrologers say is that there are all dark and light energies within each and every sign in the zodiac. So when you are talking about what you are, where you know what you are, just because somebody who is not a nice person is the same sign as you does not mean that you're bad because that person is using the darkened energies as opposed to the light energies. So this is about taking whatever strengths you have and embracing those strengths, but also recognizing that you also have weaknesses and that you have fear. You have love in you and you have fear in you. And you have to embrace all of it. And you have to accept all of it. It's how you respond to those things, which indicates what will happen or what the outcomes will be. And so that's what this is. At least to me, my interpretation of it. Oh, and now we've got the clock. This is the matter of time. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love this card. So beautiful. Clock indicates time, the passage of time. And like I said with the other card, is that the universe does not work on the timeline that we work on. So whatever it is that we are doing, the universe does not work on that time scale. When I asked when I asked a question some time ago, I asked in reference to the solstice, to the winter solstice, which is December 21st. The astrological passage of time is, well, my guides are saying it's more in tune with what universal time is about, as opposed to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You get it? It's just more in tune with the passage of time, when we're looking at time in relation to will something happen by the end of the month, the universe can't tell you that. Which is why a lot of us have gotten, which is why I got frustrated with readers who kept saying that it's going to happen by in October or in September or whatever. What I had to acknowledge was that the universe does not work on that time scale. The universe works on its own time, and that time is different than what we are physically seeing here in our physical world. So what we have to do is we have to embrace the fact that time, the passage of time, is different than the passage of time in the universe is different than the passage of our time here. And so the guides are saying that in relation to overcoming fear, that it's going to take time. It is going to take time. And anybody that says, oh, we don't have the time, we don't have the time, we don't have the time. Yes, we do. We have to make time to recognize what our fears can do, the dramatic impact that fear can have on the world. We have to take the time to recognize it. Otherwise, what happens? So when we do that, then we unlock our understanding, and we're able to continue on our journey. So these 3 cards are basically a story. They're saying you want to start on this journey. You want to start on this journey. Embrace the fact that you have the same gifts that everybody else has, but in different ways. And then take the time to embrace those things. Take the time to let go of the things and use time to your advantage as opposed to as a detriment. And finally, we have the garden. Once you do that, you step into this. You step into a garden, beautiful, majestic garden with lilies. This is interesting. Like yesterday, I have to digress just a tiny bit. Yesterday, I took part in a live stream where they did readings for people. And I asked them to connect me to my grandmother because my grandmother, her name was Lillian. And they were talking about the lilies. And look, here on this card is lilies. And they talked about things about my grandmother. They told me things about my grandmother that they couldn't possibly have known. And yet they were really accurate descriptions of her, of the type of person that she was. And it made me feel very, very close to her, even though I wasn't sure, because I always thought, I could, because I'm at this position now where I could talk to my grandmother anytime I want to. I just think about her, think about her name, think of her, and then she's there. She's in my mind. She is with me. So I thought about that, and I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. But so when I pull this card and I see these flowers, I think, oh, they look like lilies a little bit, and kind of interesting that that they come up at the last card that I pull. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing if you feel so inclined, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Sorry this went a little bit too long, but I really wanted to explore that, and I think the deep dive into fear kind of makes us understand a little bit what what we're going up against, and so I hope that that helps. So I wish you a happy Halloween, and have a great day, and as always, namaste.